Hi there, this is Ramprasath, and in this walkthrough, we are going to see how to manage Kubernetes and deploy in Kubernetes using Rancher and Harness. So this is the overview of the video. So we are going to see Kubernetes Cluster Management with Rancher, Kubernetes Monitoring with Grafana, Kubernetes Logging with ELK Stack, Kubernetes Health Alerts Notification in Slack, and continuous delivery / continuous deployment using Harness. So let's get to work. Now we are going to deploy a VM. I'm using Google Cloud Platform to demonstrate the walkthrough. So we are going to need to select a project first. So I've created two projects here because this GK cluster project, so we have a quota like for every project. I will show regarding this quota. Yeah. So we have a quota for every project, and for every project, there's a maximum of 8 vCPUs that is available per region. So in order to be the safe side, maybe we might deploy the same region, or we might not deploy in the same region. But the thing is, it's good to be safe. We'll go to the right now. We have not used any quota, so our vCPU quota is not there up yet. But then we'll be deploying soon. So right now I'm gonna choose N1 type mission, and it's gonna be a 1 vCPU mission, and I'm gonna choose Ubuntu operating system 18.04 50 GB. I'm gonna allow traffic, and I'm gonna enable SSH. So how we are gonna enable SSH is we are gonna generate a SSH key file using SSH keygen command. I'm gonna use ECDSA algorithm for that, and commit as my name. Yeah. So I'm using a tool called xclip for copying the command. It's done. We're gonna copy it here. Yes. Once this SSH is copied, let me choose the region. Region is gonna be Singapore, which is closest to me right now. And then the name of this server is going to be Awesome Rancher Server. Then we'll create this server. So within a minute, it's going to be up and running. Then we are going to SSH into it. Although GCP provides browser SSH, we are doing this old school way because it's kind of faster and it reduces latency. So now it's going to be we are going to paste this SSH external IP here. Yes, I want to add it, and yeah, voila, here we are. So sudo apt update, and then sudo apt upgrade. Yes, just a typo. Okay. So once it's done, we are going to reboot the mission, and after a minute, we are going to SSH again, and then we're going to install Docker. So meanwhile, we will see an overview of what's going on here. Slow reboot. Okay. So we're gonna do the Docker installation, and then we're gonna do the rancher installation, and then we're gonna do the ELK setup, and then we're gonna integrate our Slack channel with the Kubernetes cluster, which we will do it after rancher installation, and then we will move on to harness once the Slack and the ELK setup. So let's just try again. Still, it's restarting. Now it should be done. Yeah, it is done. So now we're gonna just run this following commands. Make sure to put this. So I make sure to put this file instructions file in the description with the GitHub link. So sudo systemctl docker is the main. Yeah. That's it. We are up and running. This is an additional step wherein we don't need to manually enter sudo for every docker command we run. I just feel like doing it. So docker info is kind of comfortable in the long run. So we'll do the rancher installation directly here. Okay. So we are using this, we are mounting this rancher volume because even if we restart this mission, our rancher data should not be lost. So right now it's pulling it. Yeah, it's done. Give docker ps to check whether it's up and running. Yes, it's up and running. Now all we need to do is click on this. We need to give it some time. Now it's there. Now we're gonna need to create a password. It's gonna be the admin password by default. Change the password later if you want. Then we are gonna save this URL as our server URL, and then we are gonna create a cluster. We're gonna select Google GKE as our hosted Kubernetes provider. Before that, I would like to show how to create a user in Rancher. Go to add user, standard user 1, password, and then display name is standard user 1. Now we are giving global permissions like standard user. Standard users can create new clusters and manage new clusters and projects that they have been granted access to. Okay, so click on create. So standard user 1 is created. Now we're going to create a cluster, and we are going to name this cluster awesome cluster because we are doing an awesome project. Then standard user member, and then we're going to read from a file. This is going to do this. We need to head to the GCP and then choose the awesome deployment GK cluster project, and then we're going to need to go to the service account of this project. We need to create a key. Now once this is done, head over to Rancher again. Put this. Now it says now we have to enable two APIs here. First, the identity and access management API we should enable, and next API for GKE. Yeah, this is enabled. Yes, now we are done. Let's just wait until this API gets turned on for 10 to 15 seconds, I think so. Yeah, it's done. Now we can go ahead and configure nodes. I'm gonna go with this US West 1. We're gonna go with 4 nodes with N2, N1 standard 2 vCPU. Yeah, that's good by default. Okay, this is container optimized OS. So this is a walkthrough. I'm not gonna enable this node pool auto scaling here. So I'm not sure what caused that. So let's go ahead and create an awesome cluster again. Fast. Member roles, add a member role, standard user, and add a member here. Then read this JSON key here. Select our region, desired region. This one be number of nodes is 4. Mission type is good. Let's go ahead. So this is going to take some time here. In the meanwhile, what we're going to do is like we'll go here to the Kubernetes management project, and then go to following URL for setting up our ELK stack. Yeah, by the way, before setting up our ELK stack, we need to do some firewall changes. We need to add a port to the firewall. So head out to firewall here in our project, Kubernetes Management project. So create a firewall rule. Awesome elastic search. Specific target tags. Yeah, this was just for the ease of use. Now we're gonna choose the TCP word 9200. Then we need to sign in here. I'm gonna sign in with my Google account. Once that's done, we can go here and launch ELK. Once this is done, we'll go to computer engine here. So once you have created an account in Bitnami, you will be provided with a vault password if you are accessing cloud services. So I'm going to enter my vault password here. So what it's saying is that I don't have any projects so far connected, or my previous project is not existing anymore. Now I'm going to select a project. I'm going to select this Kubernetes Management. So next we need to enable an API called Cloud Deployment Manager API. Let's just wait for 10 to 15 seconds until this gets, yeah, it's activated. Now we'll continue. Yeah, we're all done. We'll go ahead and launch. We'll select around 50 GB of space, and then advanced standard one is good for me. We'll go with US Central 1C. Let's create it. So you can see what it's exactly doing here. It's just starting the operation. Meanwhile, if you're gonna see here, okay, now let's just go and check whether our cluster has been deployed. No, it's still provisioning. Let's not disturb that. Now if you can see in this GCP dashboard, an instance from Bitnami ELK is being running. So once this is done, we need to log into Grafana using this user and password. Yeah, now if you can see, our awesome cluster is active. We will click on it, and okay, the cluster is currently updating. Let's just wait for it to complete. So if you can see here, there's monitoring, logging, notifiers, and alerts. So we're going to use for notification, we're going to use Slack. For logging, we are currently setting up our ELK stack. And for monitoring, there's an inbuilt feature in Rancher, that's Grafana. Let's go ahead and enable it. It's gonna take some time. Meanwhile, I hope ELK will be up, and then we will set up this logging here. In the interest of time, I would also like to create another VM for our harness delegate. I'll explain what harness delegate is soon, but we need to create another VM. Which is Ubuntu by default. Let's just close the server. Log out of the server. Be precise. Copy this. Paste it here. Create this. I think our GitHub is up and running. So we'll go to this application. Like I said, we need to enter user and password. Then we need to copy this IP address. Then we are going to go to logging, Elasticsearch, give the port number. I'm not using XPack security here, so I'm not going to provide username and password. Now let's just test whether this is working. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, this will only work only if we enable this 9200 TCP port in firewall. Save. If we go here, explore on my own, discover index patterns, we create an index pattern, awesome cluster. Next step, show advanced options. Actually, you should not be getting this. You should get an option to choose timestamp. Just do awesome here. Meanwhile, we'll just wait until this Grafana gets enabled. I think it's connected somewhere or other. Okay, so I think Grafana is enabled. Not enabled, so try giving a start. Oh, we need to wait until Grafana gets enabled and everything gets set up soon. So in the meanwhile, we will go to harness. No, not to harness so soon. We'll go to Slack. We'll go to K8s.slack.com. Start building. It's asking me to sign into my Slack account. Okay. I created awesome maps. So we just signed in. So we will go to the K8s.slack.com. Okay. Create an app. This is gonna be awesome. K8s alerts. Awesome ops is gonna be the workspace. Now we're gonna create a webhook. We'll activate it. So add new webhook to workspace. We're gonna need to select a channel. I already created this Kubernetes Deployment channel while creating the workspace. So We are copying it. Then the notifiers, we're gonna add a notifier for Slack. Awesome K8s alerts. We test it. Yeah, settings validated. We'll add it. Now we need to get some notifications. In order to get some notifications, for what kinds of alerts we need to get notified in Slack. So there are something called, these are some alerts for node health. We go here, edit it, choose a notifier, or Slack notifier. We go to advanced options and we choose some 30 seconds maybe. Yeah, 30 seconds is fine. Yeah, so this group wait time is how long to wait to buffer alerts of the same group before sending initially. So this is a group. So this is a group of alerts. So that's what this means. So for group interval time. So group interval time is how long to wait before sending an alert that has been added to a group which contains already fired alerts. So that means if you're adding this group to alert, how long does it take to send a new message once it's added? Let me just put 30. Okay, wait, make this 0. Okay, say monitoring. So I think our monitoring is not at a network, it seems. Yeah, monitoring API is not at right. Yeah, now it's ready. Grafana. Our dashboard has been loaded. CPU, memory usage, file systems are there. Cool. Now I think we'll be able to enable this. So there, go to advanced options, 0, and we'll save it. Yeah, now we're going to get alerts regarding our notifications, and then we'll also set up a notification for deployments whenever a deployment is being made. Yes. Yeah, so right now everything is fine and there's no haywire things going on. So when things are haywire, we'll get a notification in our workspace under the channel Kubernetes deployment in my case. Okay, so that's it. Slack setup is done. We'll go ahead and create some index patterns. Create a new index pattern. Store the, yeah, we need a timestamp. I wish to be more specific though. Copy the entire thing, paste it here, see what happens. Yeah. Index pattern, once this is created, we're gonna go to discovery again. And now we can see our log files. So all of our log files are stamped, timestamped, and then we're getting it. So our timestamp is running for 30 seconds. For 481 milliseconds. Okay. It's just auto combinate for a second. Auto. Yeah. whatever it chooses to be. However, whichever minute we want to view, we can view. So that's not going to be an issue. So that's it. Our ELK stack is set up. Now we will go to this harness platform. Just log in there. And then add a harness delegate. For demonstration purpose, I'm using Docker image, but then Kubernetes would be preferable for a production environment. So it's going to be awesome harness. Let's download it. So this is already extracted one, but then we have a new one. So extract here. There's a README file. We should have Docker installed. So for installing this Docker only, we are using this harness delegate. We don't need to go into that. We just need to do a small search. Yes, I want to add it. And then we are going to again install Docker. So I will tell the reason why I'm installing this separately from Rancher. Although I could have done it in the same mission by provisioning with more vCPUs and RAM. I'm doing it separately because I don't want to mess with our management environment, especially our cluster management tool. And while deploying, there's going to be pressure on both of them. There will be pressure on Rancher for sending logs and monitoring, and Grafana running too. So there are a lot of things involved in Rancher server itself. So let's just leave it alone, and then the harness delegate will do some roles. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the same here in the instructions. For that, we'll just do a small reboot to make sure everything is fine. So we'll go and have an overview before everything is up and running. So the first thing we need to do is go and set up a harness delegate before even touching anything here. So I think now it will be ready. Let's just check it out. Uncensored it, yeah. We'll check whether Docker is installed. Now we have installed it. These are the same set of commands since it's also 18.04 mission. The reason I didn't go with 20.04 is, although it's stable, it's kind of new and I'm not just sure how stable it is. And I prefer using 18.04 as of now. So, okay, so we're going to use this Docker C. Docker C is basically Docker container engine. Then they will check what sort of system CPU status Docker for the installation status of Docker. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a file named sudo. We're going to create a file named launch harness delegate. I'm going to use nano to create it. Sudo nano launch harness delegate to research. Before that, we need to do some edits here. This is going to cause some trouble. We just run it as such. Awesome harness delegate the name of the instance which we have provisioned in KCP. We're going to select it. We're going to paste it. Control O, Control X. Now we're going to set up permissions for it. We're going to run it. So just check whether our delegate is running. It's up and running. That's cool. That's all we wanted to do here. Now we'll go to this harness delegate. Might take some time to reflect here. Let's just wait for a minute or two. Yeah, so now we can close this. We'll get that. And in order to, yeah, maybe we can open this. No issues. And it's going to be up and running until the end of this tutorial. And if you can see, the resource space is for Grafana and other core services, I think so. So that's how our resources might get heavy when everything is loaded on. So now we'll go to this harness delegate. You can see there is awesome harness delegate. We are going to choose the Helm v3 install profile. Before that, we'll just check what is Helm v3 profile. So since we are going to do a deployment, I'm going to do this deployment via Helm repository. So it's essential that we are installing Helm. I'm using Helm version 3, so there's no tiller in version 3 until version 2 tiller was supported. Version 3 tiller was dropped. This is the command for installing Helm, which I make sure to put it in. Yeah, this is the command here, installing in delegate profile. So the same command we have did it here. So that's what this profile is all about. Just to display name, I just gave the same name for the description also. Submit it. Choose this profile. It may take a few minutes to apply the new profile. So the name of this delegate is awesome harness. Host name is awesome harness delegate. So that's what our instance needs to. So LB3 installed, profile has been set up. Go to cloud providers next. We go and add a cloud provider. Yeah, just gonna add a Kubernetes. We enter this master URL manually. We quantify. So this is our master URL for our awesome cluster. Display name is awesome cluster. Yes. Authentication is going to be a service account token. We're going to create a new service account. Enter a name. Awesome cluster. Service token. Now the value. This is the value. The service token. We just enter it. Submit it. Once this is done, we have a cloud provider. So in this artifact servers, I've already set up a Bitnami Helm hub, but then I'll be glad to show you how to set up. So this is our, I will just delete it and then explain from the beginning how to do it. Okay. So this is going to be a Helm repository, and the display name is Bitnami Helm hub. And the URL of the repository is here we go. No password, no username. Just give it. Yeah. So that's it. So once this is done, we'll have an application. So the application we are going to deploy is we are going to deploy a part server. Awesome for server. Then we are going to go to services first. Since there is no service, we will add a service. This is going to be the parts server service. Picking up parts server. Okay. This is going to be a Kubernetes deployment. The deployment type is Kubernetes, and we are going to deploy to a Helm. So here we are going to add a manifest from our, not exactly add, we are going to link the remote manifest. Select the repository. We're going to select the Helm chart from a Helm repository. In our case, Bitnami. So the Helm version is going to be easy. We'll make sure that's first. Chart name, chart specs, or version is going to be 11.0.4 as of the time of recording the video. This is the latest version. We will give submit. Yeah, now everything is done here. We'll go to this, go to environments, add an environment. Yeah, right now it's a production, although not exactly a fully set up production, but then for the sake of the demo, it's a production environment. I'm gonna give awesome parts assign one company. We are gonna do an infrastructure definition. Enter some cluster name, awesome cluster. Okay, so deployment time is okay. Once this is done, we are gonna head to this application, and then we're gonna create a workflow here. Creating a workflow, we are gonna do like awesome parts deployment. We are gonna do a rolling deployment. Support, we'll mention it too. So there are many types of deployments available here. There's a canary deployment available here. There's a blue-green deployment available here. Environment is gonna be awesome parts. Now the server is going to be the service. Infrastructure is awesome cluster infra. Okay. Then let's head over to pipelines. Creating the pipeline. That's awesome. Deploy awesome parts. The pipeline here. We'll add a stage. We'll first give an approval stat. Yeah, we have some advanced settings here. I'm gonna go with the basic settings right now. Then I'm gonna give a workflow. Awesome parts, rolling deployment, the workflow. Yeah, that's it. And go on deploy. Click deploy to deploy. Enter roles. The force. Be with us. Just kidding. Now it asks for approval to deploy, and I'm going to give deployment approved. So it's gonna deploy it, and we're gonna have some. We're gonna wait until then and have a coffee or something. We'll just have a nice view of the graph here. And then voila, our server has been deployed. Now we will verify it from our Rancher dashboard. Clusters for cluster, select the default namespace, and if you see here, there's MongoDB here, and then there is Spark server here. MongoDB, which is a dependency of the Spark server. Yes, and We have discovery here. And then you can add some notes, something like that. Yeah, it's immediately adding a port, I think so. So this will be useful for load balancing here. So that's it for this video, I think. So I'm just curious to go and check out Slack whether the thing really works or we need to configure something else. We'll go to Slack here since we just made a deployment. Okay, Slack setting validated. Okay, so I think the deployment alert will be available only if we deploy it via brancher, it seems. Then in that case, we don't need to worry. We can set up a notification from harness. So that's all, but then I wanted to show this dashboard. Awesome. Our server, there's a dashboard for this. We can add a widget. Let's add a widget. Awesome. So for us, create a widget. Dynamic path server is running. Okay, cool. And then we can add some custom widget, like a number of instances, then preview real data to pass service. Wow, that's cool. Okay, so that's it for the video. Thank you for watching.